Today I'm going to share some acrylic painting tips that is going to help you in painting realistic white fur. Acrylic painting is all about building layers to create depth and vibrancy. I kick things off with a bold, solid base layer. This prevents streakiness when I add more colors, so I don't have to battle the white of the canvas. A solid base means less work blending colors later. Trust me, it's a game changer. Since acrylics dry super fast, I paint the background first before sketching the details of my bunny. This gives me a smooth, soft background without rushing. To keep my paint workable, I use a fine mist sprayer with water. This lets me blend brushstrokes effortlessly with a mop brush for that dreamy, polished look. Pro tip, save money and get a brush that won't shed by grabbing a cheap makeup powder brush. They're way better than most artist mop brushes and blend out those brushstrokes like a dream. These brushes only work to remove streaks when dry, so I recommend buying a few of them. If they're wet, they'll actually create streaks instead of removing them. I'll put a link to my favorite in the video description. For my bunny, I sketch him out on tracing paper first. This lets me slide the drawing around the canvas to find the perfect spot before I start painting. Plus, this way, all my erasing was done on the tracing paper, so that means no messy eraser marks messing up my base layers on the canvas. When painting white fur, don't just reach for the pure white paint. Real fur picks up colors from the background, so very little is actually pure white. For my bunny, I keep the blue from my background and mix in some black to create deep shadowed areas. Going bold with these shadows now ensures that they'll peek through better when I layer the white fur on top, adding to the realism. Next, I build up the white fur, making sure that I'm letting the background peek through the details. Later, I will glaze color to tint it, but starting with just white helps me focus on the details, shape, and movement of the fur without stressing out over getting the perfect color at the same time. This makes everything much easier. I use a rake brush and round brushes for creating the fur texture. A rake brush is like a lot of tiny liner brushes wrapped up into one. It creates multiple thin lines with one brush stroke, saving time. But I always go back with a round or a liner brush to soften the pattern so that it doesn't look too uniform. Are you enjoying this video? You can follow along brushstroke by brushstroke with the real-time version over at patreon.com/Lachri, where for as little as $6 a month, you get access to this and over 400 of my other long-form lessons. Let me help keep you motivated and take your artwork to the next level. Here's a big mistake to avoid. Don't paint thousands of individual lines thinking that it will look more realistic. Too much random detail can make fur look scraggly, like confetti. Instead, focus on shaping the fur right. Make it clump and cluster naturally, just like in real life. Study your reference photo closely. Notice how the fur's direction, length, and clumping changes across the animal. I see students get excited about a cool brushstroke and repeat that same brushstroke everywhere, but that flattens the painting. Keeping it varied will bring your subject to life. As I paint the fur, I let bits of the background color show through the clumps. This ties the bunny to the scene so that he doesn't look like a cutout pasted onto the canvas. For shadows, I use two main colors, a grayish blue and a reddish tan. Adding that tan feels really bold, but it's what gives you the depth to the fur and makes it pop. I apply it as a glaze, which is just paint thinned down with water, to create a sheer tint that lets my earlier details shine through with a new hue. Glazing is the secret to making your painting feel alive. If you paint like it's a paint by number kit, just filling in the right colors in the right place, it will look flat, even if it is pretty. Layering and glazing adds dimension, turning your bunny into a vibrant, lifelike star of the canvas. And there is our finished white rabbit. If you want to follow along with the real-time version of this lesson, brushstroke by brushstroke, head over to patreon.com/Lachri, where you get this and over 400 of my long-form detailed lessons. That is one heck of a deal. All for as little as $6 a month. Want even more tips for painting in acrylics? Check out this video next.